Welcome to Porch Play Chats, sponsored by the American Association for the Child's Right to Play, or more affectionately titled IPA USA. IPA USA is the USA affiliate of the International Play Association, and as part of our efforts to promote play, we've introduced Porch Play Chats. And these are just conversations with people who are just as passionate about play as we are. I'm Deb Lawrence, and I'm president of IPA USA. And you can find all over 200 now of our Porch Play Chats if you go to our website at ipausa.org. And in that top right-hand corner are links to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, our Instagram, and Spotify. And if you click on any of those and friend us, follow us, subscribe to us, magically every Monday morning, a new Porch Play Chat will appear in your feed. And we've just started uploading all over 200 of them to Spotify. So you can even go to Spotify, sign up for free. All the Porch Play Chats are free to you and are available for you to use. So with me on the porch today, I am so excited because we have three big advocates for play, and they're going to talk to you about their initiative, which is called Play is the Way. So with us on the porch is Julie Doyle. Morning, Julie. Julie is the director and preschool teacher of Small Wonders, a neighborhood preschool located in I can never say this word, Ipswich. Okay, good. Massachusetts. Julie earned her master's in early childhood education through Salem State University and has been teaching preschool for 30 years. Her career has focused on teaching through play. And through her teaching, Julie has been dedicated to ensuring that all children have access to a quality preschool education where play and learning is valued. Julie's a member of the Play is the Way group, a group developed and run by local teachers designed to highlight the need and critical importance of play. And this group brings together the local early childhood professionals to advocate for children and to educate families about the importance of play in a child's development. Also joining us is Kerry Zagarella. Was I close?
You're perfect.
Oh, woo! Kerry studied education and theater arts at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, and she earned her Master's of Education in Creative Arts and Learning from Lesley University. Kerry's educational career spans decades and encompasses many facets of education. She's been an administrator, a consultant, a teacher trainer, and for the past 20 years has focused her passions on being a kindergarten teacher in a classroom. Kerry's a firm believer in utilizing the strength of children's play to guide their learning. Melissa Bilo, I think, one of those, B-I-L. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Melissa's been in the field of early childhood education for over 30 years. Her passion for play started as one of the eldest cousins in her large family. She could always be counting on for setting up fun and engaging activities for her younger cousins. I love that. Here she's been a nanny, family home child care provider, preschool teacher, and director. And she's currently the owner and director and lead teacher of a small preschool in Ipswich called Small World. Small World embraces the idea that young children are naturally curious and honors that by giving them hands-on environments and engaging materials where they can have the time, space, and freedom to explore, play, and discover. Oh my goodness. Ladies, I am so glad you're here. So I think what drew me to you, and thank you for your interest in doing a Porch Play Chat, but what drew me most to you is the model that you created that is local. Because I think, if we want to promote play, then we really have to start at the grassroots and build up. And you have such a fabulous model. So can you talk to us about Play is the Way?
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first, I guess. And so as you heard from our bios, we've been, thank you, baking cups being returned.
Oh.
we've all been dedicated to, developmentally appropriate, as they used to call it, practices. And so in our town, we wrote some grants to do some early literacy and different things that brought us all together. And I think about right before COVID, Julie talked to us about the work of Dr. Peter Gray, who is a local educator who, of course, is like, the master. And so we started to always be at the same workshops and doing the work. And so then we decided to just band. So this is the Play the Way team that you're seeing here. And we wrote some grants, and we got some great ideas, and we had community and corporate sponsorships. And then March 2020 happened. And so, and Dr. Peter Gray, we had, the showing of the Chasing Childhood movie, which changed to be a Zoom, and Dr. Peter Gray did a Zoom response. But that really kind of kicked us off. And I know you have two pushy dames here before who are friends of Julie. So she got them. So we kicked off 1 year with just monthly free trainings for teachers about play. And we did it throughout the area and the community. And teachers were very appreciative of that because they need to have those trainings. And then I think, I'm not sure, Julie or Melissa, who came into contact with the International Play Day Association that we started to do. Anybody want to talk about that latest?
So that actually came from, we tied in with the rec department locally. So that came from the Ipswich rec department, that they asked us to tie in what we're doing through play locally and bring it to more people and expand it. So last year we traveled to the playgrounds in Ipswich. So finding out that there were many families who didn't know how many playgrounds were available. But part of the goal is get out there, and you don't need a lot of equipment. You don't need money. You don't need supplies to get out there and play. You can be in the neighborhood. You can meet people. And then the flip side of it is we would bring materials with us. These are materials that you have in your home. You don't need to buy anything, but how can you get out there and play and get hands-on play? Because not only are we seeing that they need to learn how to play in a preschool, with technology, some children just don't know how to play. So we need to actually bring it back to the grassroots and the foundations of what is play. It's not sitting on a Kindle or a tablet or an iPad or a computer. That's not play. That's electronics. So bringing it back to what is the grassroots of play, and educating parents on where does that start for a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and why is it actually important to not sit on an iPad at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that the 9-year-old actually needs to be playing as well. So when we're doing our going from every Saturday going to all of the playgrounds, it's twofold. It's like having the conversations with the parents and understanding that this older child really needs to be playing just as much as the 3-year-old, and the benefits that span these large age groups, because we think that they get to public school, and because the public school says recess is 20 minutes, then we assume that all they need is 20 minutes. And that's so far from the reality of what children need. So we just took that one step further, and as a group, the three of us, we can point to different things that we like in our own play that we advocate for. So in a playground, we can each separate and go talk to different groups of families, so that there's always somebody there that they can relate to. 3 different strong personalities here can go out into the community, and there's always somebody that a family can connect to. So if it's Kerry's personality, if it's Missy's personality or mine, there has to be somebody for them to relate to ask the right questions. And that's one of the facets that we tried to provide last year.
And so I just want to, when you go to these playgrounds, you're going, is it every other Saturday?
So we were doing the first Saturday of every month.
First Saturday, I was going to say every other Saturday.
That coincides too with the International Play Day. They advocate for everyone to get out the first Saturday of every month.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so I think that's beautiful, because you're showing them how easy it is by bringing all these loose parts or things that are easy to find. When their children come over and are playing with those materials, then you have parents who may have questions about who are you and what are you doing here and why is my child playing with this stuff, that gives you this entry point to explaining why play is so important and why it's important for everybody. I mean, on the Mike Huber Porch Play Chat that will be in the feed probably in September or so, we were talking about entry points into pretend play. Well, entry points into play using loose parts materials are something that parents may not think. They may think they have to go buy the, you know, Legos or buy the, instead of recognizing that that pretend play that is happening can happen with, they can make anything. I mean, when I was a preschool teacher, you know, everybody may used a banana to make a gun or Legos to make a gun. So, you know, they have those images in their head that they're pretending. So I think that's a powerful way to go where parents hopefully are at the park. So for those of you who are listening, think how you might be able to gather together some loose parts and go to a park and play. It's just
I also like suggest, you know, doing it in conjunction with the International Play Association because it gives you a little more cred. We also got we continue to get grants from DEY.org, Defending the Early Years, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And so we were able to get sort of like a utility worker vests that we are our play coaches. So we're like easy to identify and we have a flag that we hang. But I'm going to throw this over to Melissa, who is a bit of a queen of loose parts. And I'm looking forward to Melissa, we volunteered to do some other work here, which we're going to have more time to show pictures. But she has a lot of loose parts. And Melissa, you want to talk a little bit about how you use them? Because we also use them the way you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think loose parts are just a way to keep the play open-ended. You know, we don't have, you know, in our kitchen, our home center, you know, we don't have traditional food. We have pine cones and wood cookies and pom-poms and, you know, and I think we brought that into the play days as well. You know, we didn't bring your traditional, you know, we had some chalk and things, but we also had wood cookies and pine cones and, you know, encouraged families to even get out and walk around and see what they could gather, you know, see what was out there. Part of our mission was to even show families some of the parks that they may not have known about. Every month we chose a different location and a different park. And there were several times that we showed up and they said, oh, we didn't even know this park was here. So that was nice too. It kind of helps families to see what's out there in the community. There's more than just one local park. We have several, and several are connected to, you know, open space, you know, Willowdale Forest. So that opens up another aspect of, you know, nature and being in nature and the importance of that as well.
How do you get people to come to the first Saturday of every month in the locations that you're having them?
Not easy.
It's it can build. We had some regulars, which were good that they followed us around, and I think people knew about it. But there's also like soccer and swim lessons, and kids are so busy; they're too busy.
They're too busy.
So, you know, some people we use social media. Melissa and Julie are both like really great at just like always posting these things. And I would get press releases in the newspapers, and we'd send flyers to the local preschools to hand out. And so I think a lot of people knew about it and thought it was great. But in our first year, there wasn't like we were never overwhelmed, let's just say, with people. But we're happy that we had the people that we have, and it's only going to become more well known the more that we do it. And the good thing about the International Play Day is that it's like, okay, and we're, you know, we're talking about this, it's the first Saturday of every month. So as we're moving forward, we were planning and the library, local library is going to host this, planning on a meeting for all preschool teachers, like the second Wednesday of every month. So it's almost always the same, so that people can just come or not come.
Mhm.
So it's just getting it out there. We always made it fun. So I think people liked to come, and we usually had goodies to give away, like little magnifying lenses, or we had passports that the kids got stamped every time they came. So a lot of kids were excited to get those. We made
Well, we piggybacked this year. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but I
Nope.
also this year we kind of piggybacked on events that were already happening. So like Ipswich
point.
has a big illuminations, which they do every year, and it's well, attended by families. So this year we actually have kind of piggybacked on events that are already known, and we've definitely
Good point.
gotten a better response and a better attendance. So we did the lanterns at illumination. So we had a little table and the kids could make lanterns.
And we sat there making lanterns in the dark.
Uh-huh.
They just kept
And
coming
that was a little overwhelming. We had a lot of people. It was
we
awesome.
did.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
people. That's true. That's a very good point, Missy.
And then there was an evergreen event where families could go and make wreaths. So we went and had a booth, and we set up that the kids could come and make a pine cone bird feeder. So that again was piggybacking on an event that was already a known thing and well known. So it's kind of like we didn't want to have to reinvent the wheel.
Right. I think that's so smart to look at the community happenings already and then to piggyback on top of those. I think it's a great way to get yourself known. And do you know where you're going to be the next month? I mean, how far in advance? Because then you could have next month join us at blah 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 park or something. Do you do that as well, so that you can have like signage that's easy to change, so that people will say, oh, let's put that down, they're going to be at such and such a park next month.
Yeah, so the first year we did that, we pretty much had the whole schedule set out. So you could see it was on our website, and we pretty much had every park set out. And then this year we've been doing more of the events. So we're kind of switching, we've kind of been flexible based on, what seems to be working the best.
I think the event thing is a very smart move to get more people. And if there's not an event that month, then you could say next month will be at blah blah blah. I just think this is such a powerful way for people to start in their community. And it sounds like you started small, but then the lantern event was crazy, right? So because you began to say, okay, how best can we go where the children are? I remember when I was a director, and back then we didn't have the internet. I'm old. And so, my job was to market my program. And so I said to myself, where do parents have to wait with children? and then that's where I went, took books with our marketing materials in there. What do parents need to do when they're at a car dealership and they're trying to buy a new car? Oh, well, they need bags to clean out their old car so they can move it into. So I got ordered bags, and we took them to the car dealerships. So to help families, and I mean, that worked. You go where people are, right? And may have a need. So yes, I think that's a really smart strategy. Yeah. So what are some other, can you talk about when you're talking to families who are approaching you and saying, who are you and why are you here? And what are my children playing with? How do you have that communication with families that make them understand the value of child-initiated open-ended play? What questions?
I think all parents start with that at a young age, that they value play. And then they work with us and they get to the public school, and at some point they feel as though it's not valued anymore and they shouldn't be advocating for play. So
Mhm.
our goal is really to get into the community and look at how parents are playing, how they're interacting, and what can we do to help them. So if
Mhm.
you're looking at a family that has a 3-year-old, they understand the value for the younger child, but what they've lost is that social aspect, that conflict resolution, problem solving, working it out, getting along. Those skills are more important in kindergarten than
Mhm.
any of the letters. So
Right.
those skills are going to be the skills that are going to take them from kindergarten to middle school to high school to college.
Mhm.
Without them, I mean, we see this now in middle school where project-based learning is coming back. It's coming back because children don't have the social skills, and they
Mhm.
don't have the social skills because we're limiting their play. So
Mhm.
all of these things are interrelated and connected, but you look forward and we look at the children that come out and play. So sometimes it's not a matter of waiting for them to ask the question. Sometimes we say, well, we're here because sometimes we lose sight of what's important, and we're here as a team so we can stand united to let people know that we value this and we see your concerns, and the same concerns that you had in first grade, we have them too, so
Yes.
that you're not alone in this. So
Mhm.
because sometimes parents have that gut feeling that it's not right, but at the end of the day, they get to March in kindergarten and they say my child needs to read. All of a sudden everybody else is reading, and they say that this is a regulation, that this is what has to happen by the end of kindergarten. So as much as I know that play is what's right, I don't want my kid being the only kid who can't read.
Right.
And they jump on
Yeah.
the bandwagon because they
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
the right thing to do, and we know better. So
Right.
we need to let them know that they don't have to ask the question. We reach out first.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love it. I love it. And again, a good model for how you can engage parents who are approaching you in a conversation that opens the door to them asking you questions. So you are just saying, we're here today because this is why, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And parents, just like teachers, are feeling such pressure to get children ready.
Yeah.
And they don't want their child to be the only one who's not reading or the only one who can't. And so if we can give them those prerequisites, those dispositions of learning that they need to develop in those early years so that they can work together with their peers and collaborate and um, problem solve and be critical thinkers and take initiative and want to explore and discover and be curious, all of those wonderful positive dispositions, instead of feeling frustrated and feeling like they can't learn because the
Yeah.
work doesn't match. We have this mismatch Bruce Perry talks about between where a child is developmentally and where they are chronologically. So
Mhm.
all of those things I think really are helpful for parents to see it from a different angle.
And I
Oh,
think people,
Well,
I'm sorry, but
oh
I
no.
think people don't understand, and families, because they do feel this pressure, don't understand what a play-based classroom looks like. They think play is maybe how they see their kids at home throwing Legos all around and going crazy and not cleaning up and like all that stuff. But, you know, play-based programs actually take a lot longer to
Mhm.
plan than any of this canned curriculum that they give me or public school teachers. And it's very thoughtful, and you're doing a ton of child observations to see what is the hook that's going to be. And then, okay, we're all on a bus, like we're going to study school buses because that is what the kids want. And we're going to throw in boxes and circles and wheels and steering wheels and things like that, that it is very the teacher's the architect of this experience, and the kids are free in that creation, but like we're in charge. Like it's not just free fall. And I really think people don't um understand that, like admins and most people
What they
play
see in their head is not what is actually in reality.
yeah,
And I
and like
think
Melissa said, I'm sorry.
oh
I'm
no, it's okay. No, it's okay.
so
I think the thing that's so important is that what I'm hearing you say is that when we plan for play, it's meaningful and relevant to a child's daily life. It's building on their interests, and the teacher is intentional in picking up. There's so much, teachers will say, well, I have to give them worksheets because I have to show I'm doing something. Well, okay, show that you're doing something by observing them. And if you need to align it with your state early learning standards.
Yeah.
And so that they can see that you're doing something, but what you're doing is promoting children's development through play. Oh,
Well, and I think, oh, sorry, I just want to add, the thing for me that I find too, it's like, what about the joy? Where's
mhm.
the, it's like, mental health right now is a big
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, when I look at my kids, they're happy because
Yes.
they're playing and it's natural and it's holistic. So for me, it's like, I think parents, grown-ups get nervous about, what if they, if they don't get this, or if they're not reading, and I'm that person that says they'll get there.
They'll
Don't
get
worry.
there.
Like, just
What's
And
the
they
rush?
get there
yeah,
on their own time,
I
right?
can guarantee you,
Yep.
just like everybody has their way and everybody has their strength, and like let's let them be little and let them be themselves. Like, this is the best time in their life where they don't have those outside pressures. Just let them be and let them be happy. What's wrong
And I
with
will
letting them
say-
be
What's
happy?
wrong with that?
I will
Well,
say that one really effective way for parents is to bring them in September and give
Mhm.
them all the toys that children have and
Mhm.
let them decide. They just play and they do something on the table and they all try to outdo each other a little bit. But once they do that, you can point out the pre-math, the
Mhm.
fractions, what's happening. It's the foundations of mathematics and counting and number relations. And you can point out all the pre-writing and pre-language.
Mhm.
And parents tend to get it if they play with those toys as well. And they
Yeah.
see what we're talking about a little bit, because they build. It's engineering.
And interesting, it's through experience, right?
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
learning through experience.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness, this has been amazing. So I'm going to close this out. Don't go anywhere. To learn more about IPA USA, please visit our website at ipausa.org. And until next time, keep on playing.